welcome into match 2 of our friendly tournament. We got Jim over here as the Zerg, and we got Chad over here as the Protoss. We'll see how these players react. Chad said that the last time he played Starcraft was about 10 years ago. We don't have a timer on Jim's last time playing, but it was certainly around that period of time. We see Jim getting some overlords produced, a worker up. Chad's got his assimilator and a pylon going up. No workers coming out of him yet. There we go. He's got some workers online now. Jim with a quick spawning pool. No extractors yet on the Vespene. Got a gateway up out of Chad here. Jim's also got 2 overlords up already, giving him a nice, healthy supply cap. Chad's got Forge up. We don't see the evolution chamber up out of Jim yet, so he might end up being behind on upgrades here if he is not careful. We got this mineral line oversaturated here. Chad still a little bit behind on workers, looks like. Just by 1. Natural expansion going out for Chad. We have a worker, with a proxied hatchery in the 4th base. This could be very interesting. Jim could execute a very, very strong rush here, potentially. We've got Chad making zealots already out of his gateway. Couple Zerglings on the way to go do some early harassment, it looks like. Extractor coming up out of Jim. More workers. Upgrading to a layer soon, maybe. But that costs a lot of Vespene, so we'll see how it goes. Chad has done no scouting yet. We see a photon cannon coming up. These Zerglings are going to be there right before it finishes. So they'll be able to get past it. Up and in the main here. There's 1 zealot out right now. A second one coming up. These 4 Zerglings are going to be enough to deal with this 1 zealot. But they're not going to be able to be enough to deal with the 2. Just a little bit short there. But it's bought Jim enough time to get this hatchery up and online. He's got Zerglings coming out of it already. He's got a ton of minerals in the bank, so he could theoretically do some rushing with some queens here also. Be interesting to see what he does here. More Zerglings coming out. He's going to amass a bunch of Zerglings right here and have a very strong forward army. It's not going to be enough to deal with these 2 photon cannons here, though. This is a lot of defensive structures coming out of Chad here. He's kind of choked on minerals because of this. But he's got 1-1 coming, so we don't see the evolution chamber up out of Jim yet. He didn't have the extractor up until kind of later, so he was behind a little bit on that front. Second hatchery being built. Chad sees the proxied hatchery. He knows that he needs to react to this somehow. He's got pylon going up. He's got 2 zealots moving around. He's not going to be able to do much with these 2 zealots into this pile of Zerglings right now. Oh, Jim taking some free damage. He's run past into the pylons. Blowing up this pylon here would not do very much. But we do see a queen coming out. Chad preparing some defenses up against this corner here to defend against this proxied hatchery. Queen providing some solid defense. Second hatchery, 3rd hatchery going up. Jim has put 3 hatcheries into this proxy location. He's got an oversaturated mineral line way back at the base. He's got 26 workers sitting here. Chad with 4 photon cannons. He needs to be investing in more units, though. The photon cannons are going to provide him a little bit of time against this, but it's not going to be enough, theoretically. Jim getting his evolution chamber out now. He's behind on upgrades by about a full 1-1. Lair came out here. We've got tons and tons and tons of Zerglings popping out here. We could see him even also throwing out a bunch of queens as well. This queen spawning larvae here at the lair. He's got Zerglings speed up, so these Zerglings are a lot faster. He's got a lot of Zerglings. He's got 28 Zerglings up. That is enough to overcome these defenses right now, but it's going to cost him a lot to do that. The more time that he has to build up here, the further behind Chad's going to find himself. He is getting a Stargate up and a Pylon up, but he needed to build more units here in order to defend against this. We've got these Zerglings coming out now, breaking the Pylon, hopefully, but he's choked just a little bit. He's got some Zerglings running around, not doing too much. That was not quite enough. He missed some of the Zerglings on the initial attack there as well. Queen going down to the Zealots here. Zealots starting to work on these hatcheries. The strategy is not going exactly as Jim had hoped. A lot of Protoss cannons came up, making this attack a little bit difficult. Chad discovering the proxy base was also unfortunate. Gave him a lot of room to defend. Some Hydralisks coming out. We missed a Hydralisk den going up a second ago. He's got Hydralisk range going up too. But these couple of Zealots just on top of these spawning units is enough to kind of deal with the situation. Jim has an opportunity here to react by just going into a normal production now. He's forced Chad to build a lot of photon cannons that won't necessarily do a whole lot for him. He's lost a lot here at this point. He's lost about 3,000 resources. But this is still a recoverable game. Chad is a little bit behind on his production and his resource management. We see 1-1-1 out of Chad now. Let's check on upgrades here. We have no upgrades. We do have melee 1 out of our evolution chamber here for Jim. He's way oversaturated on his mineral line. He's got 30 out of 8. And this forward base, this proxy base, has been cleaned up now. He's transitioning into a more standard natural expansion. Chad's going to be ahead on bases here. Jim spent a lot of time working on that attack, and unfortunately it did not work out particularly well. Fleet Beacon coming up for Chad. He has access to his mothership now, and he's got resources to buy it. We see Void Ray carriers actually coming out of Chad here. Ooh. Oh, and we've got Zealots coming in to try to find the main base now. There just wasn't enough left behind for Jim. Yep, and that'll give Chad the match, or the game. Sorry, that was game one. Congratulations on the victory, and we're gonna move on into the next one.